All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? All right. We have the jobs report number that just came out. Let's take a look. Let's see what it came out. Calendars. Sure, I can. So 1385 versus the forecasted 1375. So a little bit higher than expected. So we'll see how the market reacts to that. Of course, as always. Mr. Snowboarder, good morning, good morning. What's going on, my man? Marjan, good morning. Colin, what's going on, man? Good morning. Sky, hola. I brought espresso. Hey, let's go. All right, market getting a little bit of a rip now after that initial yank. Apple popping off here. Daniel, what's going on? Buenos dias. Yes, sir. All right, all right, all right. Amazon, nice little pop. Nice little pops here across the board. We'll see how things pan out. Big Red Pond, good morning, sir. Happy Thursday. What's going on, man? Nancy, how you doing? Good morning. Smash that like button, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Quinn, how you been? Good morning. All right, everybody. We'll wait till 8:35 to get everybody kind of rolled in here. Get everybody tuning in. On 8:35, we'll get started. Sky's got the espresso. I'm having my coffee. Are you having it with Bailey's, though? That's the question. Show them Duolingo skills. Colin, what a glorious day to be alive. Hell yeah. Moises, good morning. Martin Cortez, good morning. Big Red Pond, my man, coming in again with that $4.99. His comment says, let's make that money. Let's go. Appreciate you, man. You're the man. Constantly coming in here and dropping $5 on the regular. I'm gonna start adding all that up and donate it somewhere. Nice little fund you got going on here. $5 almost like every other week you're dropping in here. I'll go give it to somebody. Make somebody's day. Put a smile on their face, you know? Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Colin, thank you for doing this morning. No worries, anytime. Diana, how you doing? Good morning to my favorite teacher. How you doing? Soccer, good morning. All right, guys, we got about 2 minutes and we'll get going here. If you guys are tuned in, go ahead and smash that like button. Let's get those likes going there so YouTube can, I don't know, like my feed. Mr. Snowboarder, once you go over levels and watch this, can I get your thoughts on AMD? Consolidation for a week now. Yes, sir. Big Red Pond, you the man, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Ramiz, good morning. What's going on, man? All right, we got about 30 seconds here, and we'll get popping. We'll dive right in. We'll get going. We'll talk about the markets. We'll talk about the cues, the SPY, the free alerts. Then we'll go ahead and talk about some of the stocks you guys want me to look at. But of course, as always, make sure you let me know if you want me to, if you're looking to day trade those calls or puts, or if you're looking to swing trade them, so I can give you a better understanding of how I kind of see things at least. G Money, let's get it. Good morning, y'all. Oh, I'm not a man. It's Syra. Well, I didn't know that. I know you as relaxing, calm sound. Anyways, guys, let's get right into it. This is the SPY daily chart. This area above this 370, 368 has just been a clusterfuck in my opinion. You know, this past area was the resistance point. Now we're coming up to this area, and every time we hit this 20 moving average, we see resistance. Every time we pop above it, we can't hold, we sell off. Yesterday again, we popped back up, came back and closed under the 20 moving average. And here today, we're sitting above that 368, but you know, we're still having a hard time up here. And now just currently, you know, we hit that 372 resistance and coming back down to the 368 level. So this 368, 369 level is starting to become a problematic area. And what I mean by that is we really need to stay above this in order to try and track back into these highs of 380s. Or we're really just going to roll over. Right now, we're in a position where we're constantly just battling each other. You have, you know, bulls fighting, you have bears fighting, you have people who have been in positions for so long or just looking to get out for a little bit of a lesser loss, that every time we pop, we're getting these like we're getting smashed in the head every time we pop up here. So we really need to get above this main level here, this little 168 area. We got to get above that, maintain above that in order to kind of consolidate and push back up here. We continue to lose this 368 level and reject, well, we can very easily start seeing chopping around. We can go back into this area right here. Again, there's a lot of congestion that happens at this level. And then obviously volatility would increase again if we lose this 353 area. Okay, so lots to kind of pay attention to going into today. Gotta be a little bit more patient. We could see more indecisions, up, down, choppy action. So gotta be a little bit careful and really see that direction over that 368.90, 369 level to see what's going to happen going forward. Okay, we'll dive into the 15-minute time frame here, and let me put my levels back up. Perfect. Okay, so now the reason why I've highlighted that 368.92 is simply because of this. Take a look at all this rejection that we've had at this level, and then retest and held, retest and held, retest and held, retest and held, lost it again, rejection, rejection, retest and held, and now we're coming back to it again. So clearly a very valid area. 368.92 has been proven in the past, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5 days that it's been a pretty good solid base of support and resistance, and now we're kind of fighting that area again here in the pre-market. Okay. So the levels to kind of pay attention to again would have to be that 368. All right, we're going to pay attention to that 368 here, and what's going to happen at that 368.90 is really vital on what we plan on seeing for the day to come. If we lose this 368.90 too early on, then we can see that sell-off back down to yesterday's lows, ultimately kind of maybe bounce around here before making lower lows. Or if we hold above this and we kind of start consolidating, we really need to penetrate this 370.92 in order to push to 370, consolidate, and then maybe break out further into that 373. All right, so those are the key things we have to pay attention to, but ideally the most important level comes at this 368.92, and we got to pay attention to what happens there. Okay, these are some of the lower levels beneath us that you guys can take note of. 364.90, 362, 359, and overhead 370.90 is the level we hit right now in the pre-market and saw a rejection, and then 372, which is yesterday's high essentially, and 373 from prior day's price action. All right, so these are levels that I have not just created recently. They've been on my charts for some time, and they're always being respected. So go ahead, take a screenshot, write them down. You know, you're more than welcome to use these levels. And then we'll jump into the Qs. All right, so the Qs, very similar look to the SPY. You know, sell off, pop to 20, rejection, sell off, pop to 20, rejection. And now we're kind of in a very similar situation where we need to stay above a certain level. And that certain level on the Qs is slightly different. It's sitting at around 269. So that's a level we have to keep an eye on here. And that 269 sits right around this pivot right here. So if we can stay above that level, great, we can look to track higher. But if we don't, ultimately, we're hitting the 20 moving average and rejecting back down again, right? So if we take a look at what happened here, right, we can really easily see that happen again, right? So that's the thing we got to focus on. If we're going to continue on the bullish side, we have to stay above 269.34 in order to do that. Let me see. All right, so yeah, let's dive into the 15-minute time frame here and take a look at what's going on. And right away, you can see that, this 267.18 was a level that held in the future session, obviously after hours as well as early morning today, and we're popping back up. But most importantly, again, this 269.34 is a level that we need to pay attention to. Rejected here a little bit, use it as support after, use it as support. Now we're kind of coming back into that area again that we need to pay attention to. Okay, so that's going to be the level to watch on the Qs. If that breaks to the downside, then we really open up to 267.18, 263. But if we do hold and look to penetrate higher levels than 273.36, and ultimately this 276 area on the upside. So make sure you have these levels drawn out for you. And really you just gotta wait to see kind of direction here, and see if we're gonna really break that 269 to the downside or hold it and go higher. So we'll see how that kind of pans out. These are your levels, write them down, hold on to them. And then I'm going to jump into some of the free alerts that I'm keeping my eyes on today. First one is AMD. So let me pull up AMD here. So on AMD, essentially what you have here is an inside day. Okay, and the reason why I have this on my watch list is I kind of like trading these inside days sometimes when the chart allows for it. Okay, I don't just trade any inside day, but this one looks like it's following the market. So sell off, pop up to 20, sell off, pop up. Inside day, this candle doesn't really look like there's much bulls in it, just getting hammered here. So if we get back under that level, we should see at least another pull, at least back to that low of day here. So watching this one on the inside day trigger to the downside of 56.50. So 56.50 snaps. If this level right here snaps, we're looking for further downside. But if we can get this back above 57.75, right, which is this little pivot right here. Where's that? 57.50. If we can get it above this pivot right here, then we can look to kind of push it to 58 and possibly yesterday's high day. All right, so a little bit of an unorthodox way to trade inside days. I know you guys are used to higher day breaks and lower day breaks, but because we have decent resistance right here at 57.50, it is valid to kind of take this trade to the upside there if it does trigger. However, I do like the downside move on this a lot better. Okay, so I want this to kind of come down. If we open right here and it comes down, this will be a little bit of a chase, so we have to wait for some sort of a bounce or consolidation before taking the put. But if we open a little bit lower, consolidate right out of the open, then I might take it a little bit earlier on there. Okay. Next one is INTC. INTC, again, very similar. Inside day again, you had that big range move to the downside the other day. You had a very consolidated range on it yesterday. So this one, both ways we can kind of trade this is 26.30, which is this resistance right here that I have. Above that, you could look to push back into that 26.90, 27 area. Of course, if we lose under that 26.65, which is essentially yesterday's low, then you can look to kind of fall into this downside area of around 25, 24.89. Okay, so very clear. You can see that consolidation here last few days. If that breaks, you could see further downside. You also have this little bit of a, bear flag forming on the 15-minute. So if that snaps, you could see further downside as well on it there. Okay, so that's the levels I'm watching here: 25.60 and 26.30 on the upside on INTC. Meta, this one again, you have that inside day play. However, it looks nicer on the downside. Why? Because we've had selling pressure. Something up here is preventing this from making a higher move. So all of this selling pressure, we got to see if the support of 132 is going to hold. If it doesn't hold, then it snaps, and we could see further drops into the 130, 128 areas. Okay. Now, if this does turn around, the only place I'd kind of want to take calls at here would be around 134. Or yeah, 134.15, because there's an old area of resistance I have drawn. Because of that big sell-off, we could pop quickly to 135.77, but nothing that I would marry. I would probably shave some off there, and then 137 would be your next area, as we have seen 2 days of multiple rejections at that level. Okay, so that's the upside trigger, 134.15, and the downside is around 132 that you could take advantage of for a sell-off down to the bottom. All right, now let me explain how you guys can take these trades, just so people are aware. So you really got to understand, just because it's a trigger doesn't mean you have to close your eyes and buy as soon as the trigger level hits. You have to understand where price action was, where price action is, where it came from, and what it's kind of doing at this moment. So for example, if we're looking to buy puts under this 25.70 level, price is opening up right here at 26, and then we yank right out of the open. Well, if you go ahead and you get involved on puts right here, what are the chances of this continuing to go further down? If it was up here and it sold straight off down to this area right here, the chances of this going further would be less now, right? So if it was up here and it sold off, it probably 90% chance, 70% chance, 60% chance, 50% chance, 40% chance that if it breaks this, it's going to continue to go lower. So what it could do is, as soon as you buy the puts here, it could bounce right back up, kind of kill your premiums. Depending on what your risk tolerance is, you might get out of the trade here, but then it will consolidate a little bit, maybe come up, come down a little bit before snapping this area right here and then going lower. Okay, so ideally where you want to enter is not here, right? Where you want to enter is wait for this consolidation after that big move down to take the trigger right here. All right, now another way that I often play these is, let's say, you know, price is opening right here. Let's say this sells off, and the next, I don't know, 20 minutes, this sells off here, consolidates in the pre-market, and then we open right here at this trigger level, and then we're about to snap this in the first 5 minutes. Okay, because price is already right here and we're kind of opening and we're about to hit this level right out of the open, oftentimes I would take this trade right here in the first 5-10 minutes and take advantage of that big volume that's going to come in to push it down here, and then be out of my trade already when that premium kind of gets juiced up when everyone starts selling it. Okay, so if it's within the first 5 minutes and we're really close to the trigger, then we would actually get involved within the first 5-10 minutes as that happens. Okay, now the third scenario is, you know, the market opens, price doesn't trigger anywhere, and we're kind of going, it's like an hour into the market, 2 hours into the market, we come up to this level. You're not going to want to take that trigger right there, right? Because the volume is really low after 11:30 in the morning. You're going to want that breakout to happen, the retest to take place, and then possibly get involved on the retest. You want to take the trade right there on the retest and not right here. All right, so that's where you got to wait for a breakout, and on that breakout you want to see increase in volume. If the volume spikes, then you know it's a valid breakout. If the volume doesn't spike, it's actually decreasing, well then that's a big fat no and something concerning to keep an eye on. All right, so we're going to dive into some of the questions you guys have in regards to tickers you want me to take a look at. First, I'm going to go over AMD, as Mr. Snowboarder asked, but go ahead, smash that like button, guys. There's about 50 of you here and only 25 likes. That means only half of you are liking the stream, so go ahead, smash that like button. All right, Raul, good morning from Redondo Beach, California. All right, let's get into AMD. So we got nice consolidation here, still consolidating. So, I mean, this inside day could be the day that causes this thing to kind of sell off a little bit. If we look at, let's look at the 4 hour, same thing. So the 4 hour, you have this 60-30 level, this 55-50 level. It's in this little channel here, okay? To kind of see this really break out and get moving, you're either going to have to pop back over that 60-30, or you're going to really have to see this thing fall under 55-50 in order for it to start triggering. You're right, it is in consolidation there. Just needs to break out, whether it's the downside. I mean, ideally this is a bear flag because it happened after a sell-off and it's consolidating. So it's either going to have to break to the downside or a short-term reversal off of that 60-40 level, okay? But again, for the intraday price action, you do have that inside day trigger you can take advantage of, possibly the 56.50, and then see that thing kind of sell off the 55.50 area, which would be that main level to watch on the broader spectrum to see if this thing is going to break down and go further. All right, Tesla's coming to 205. Breaking. Can you push down? Can't push down to what? Tesla's got a big level to watch here under 207. So I guess we'll talk about Tesla here. All right, so I got a level on Tesla here at 206.97. All right, so let's look at the daily first. You can see lots of the charts are doing the exact same thing. All right, so anyways, 206.97 is a level that we have from May 24th, 2022. All right, we've bounced off of this level before. We've bounced off this level before here. We bounced again here, right? Now that 206.97 happens to be right at that area where when the stock sold off after ER, that's the first area of bounce at 206.97. And then we came down in the futures or in the after hours and the pre-market this morning, and then we bounced right at that level again. But constantly putting lower highs, okay? So what could happen here is if buyers don't really step up and hold this thing back above that 206.97, that's the thing we need to pay attention to. What's going to happen at 206.97? If we put in some sort of, double bottom here and break out and continue going higher, great. You can take that reversal trigger maybe back to that 216 level. All right. If we kind of pop back up here, continue to make a higher low or a lower high, I should say, then you're kind of looking for that H pattern to see if this 206.97 will break. And if that break comes in with this increase in volume, then you can take advantage of that move right there, or wait for the retest and continue back down into the 198.47 or 200 number, which is the psychological hold number on it. Okay, so ideally we need to see what's going to happen at 206.97. Breaks, you could move lower down to that 200 number, but if we put in a reversal pattern right at that 207, then you'd have to wait for that pattern obviously to form before you get involved in calls for a little bit of a short-term bounce on it. What the hell? This is I've done these streams for 2 years now, and I've never seen somebody come in and comment that shit. Anyways, so that is the level on Tesla that we would pay attention to there. We're going to have to wait for that 206.97 to take place and see how that kind of pans out. A few other names that were interesting today. I think obviously IBM had earnings as well. You guys can take a look at IBM. They're doing pretty good in the pre-market, but AA was another one. So AA, if you guys are trying to trade these earnings here. AA 33.50 is a key level to watch. If it loses that, it could open up to a pocket to 31 as well. This one had earnings, and they reported a loss actually. So we'll see how that one goes. Yao Ming wants to see Roblox. Let's take a look at Roblox. Let's start with the daily here, see how Roblox daily is doing. All right, so another rejection off the 200, pulling back. Not the greatest candle setups here on the daily, but let's take a look at the 15-minute time frame here. So a nice strong push. This was when I believe they had some news with, can't remember the news exactly, but anyways, nice push here. I don't really see much on this, to be honest. I need to, for this to break, we need 40-50 to snap. For downside triggers, if 40-50 snaps, then you can take advantage of that, you know, that gap from the overnight from a few days ago. On the upside, there's too much resistance right here, right? You have resistance, support, which is going to turn into resistance. You don't have much room or range in it on the upside here. You'd have to wait for this to kind of break out of this level or get under 40-50 in order to take puts on it. Otherwise, I kind of stay away from it. There's just too much congestion up here. 42.30 can be a rejection level, and then anywhere in between here, because of this big volume node that it's created in the last few days, can cause selling pressure of all these people trying to get out if this pops back up here. Okay, so the safer play would be to see what happens at 40-50. If that breaks, you could have all these people trying to panic sell, which could cause more selling pressure back down to that 38 level. That's the only way I would kind of pay attention to Roblox there. Let's take a look. So Apple got that initial pop and now getting some more weakness in the pre-market. Nothing exciting there. Energy was pretty hot yesterday. You guys can pay attention to some of the energy names. They have pretty good, decent setups. But otherwise, take a look at SPY one last time. And I want to go into the closer time frame to kind of show you guys how we've broken down, retested the 368.92 to the T, and kind of just consolidating under that level now. All right, Yao Ming, no problem, my man. No worries at all. Perfect. So, yeah, we had some spammers in the chat today. So I had to delete those messages. But other than that, I think we covered everyone's questions here. Don't see any other ticker requests. And it is coming up to 9 a.m. here. So if you guys are here, I really appreciate it. Go ahead and smash that like button as always. Make sure you guys tune in every Thursday as we go through these live videos and talk about the market and some free alerts and answer some of the questions you guys may have in regards to these tickers. All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys next week right here at 8:30 a.m. on YouTube. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.